one thing I've been thinking about, and it's been spurred on by kind of what we've been talking about, is when we do that thing that we've talked about, which is projecting onto that other person, either our past or what we think they're thinking about us or what we imagine they might say to us, it's not fair. It's not fair to them.
Mm-hmm.
And to love someone is to be fair. So if I'm approaching an interaction with this person coming from a place that's not fair, then I need to change that and try to let go of those preconceptions and live in the moment and be open to what it is that they are saying and the interactions we are having. Now, it may not be all positive, but at least it's not 20 years back when somebody hurt my feelings that I'm, putting onto you as I'm talking to you. So just the idea that it's not fair to put those things on them.
I heard somebody say it. I don't even remember who said it, but a long time ago. You don't get hysterically historical, like going back to the beginning.
I think that was Lisa TerKeurst too. I love her. Yes.
Yeah. But she talked about going back in every interaction you've ever had with them and projecting. That's really good stuff. So don't do that. I think also what helps me is I can always tell when I have prayed before I have an interaction with someone, as opposed to just going into it with no thought or prayer at all.
Yeah.
Because I'm much more likely to, I have a right to say this and I'm going to spit, to pound my fist and to talk about my rights. And a lot of times God humbles me in those moments before and says, no, you just need to listen. You just need to be quiet and listen. So I think prayer for me is a big factor in that.
Without prayer, you're unarmed.
Yeah.
And the arrows can hit and then you react, or I do. So.
Yeah, and I also think that setting up boundaries is really important.
Sure.
And we've talked about boundaries multiple times, but boundaries are so important to our own mental health, that if there is somebody who always rubs us the wrong way, it's okay to not spend as much time with that person. Give yourself permission to walk away for a season from a relationship. Relationships can also be seasonal. Your feelings can also be seasonal. And so just because you don't like somebody during this season doesn't mean that if you walk away from that relationship for a season, you pray for them, you pray for the healing of your own heart, then you can come back to that relationship in a place where you're healthier, where the relationship might be healthier, and then you might actually be able to have feelings for them that are not dislike feelings. You can actually like them.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that in a relationship that you can't walk away? Let's say you're sort of mandated to be together. I think it's possible to do that, but let's talk about how.
I think one of the things that has helped me is expectations. We all come to relationships with expectations. And oftentimes when I look at my expectations of the relationship, I am asking them to be something that I know they cannot be. I'll liken it to a spouse. If you are expecting the, fairy tale wedding and dream marriage and you complete me kind of fairy tale, which is what it is, you're going to end up disappointed, because the expectations that we have for relationships, if they're too lofty, it becomes an idol.
It's true.
It's true. And I just think that I go into relationships with expectations that are unrealistic. So I think based on the past interactions that you've had with that person, you can adjust your expectations and kind of emotionally prepare yourself for those difficult conversations. If you can't remove yourself, that is true. But for me, expectations plays a big part of it. Like I need to not necessarily lower my expectations, but to just be realistic about what I expect from this relationship.
A lot of that comes down to your own self-awareness too, and making sure that you've built in support around you. So let's say that person that drives you crazy is a coworker, that you enlist another coworker to say, hey, if I get into a conversation with this person, come up and rescue me in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I know that I have 10 minutes capacity for this person, so come rescue me in 10 minutes.
That's so good.
But it starts with knowing yourself, knowing what your limits are, knowing what your capacity is, and knowing what your triggers are.
That's true.
And trying to make sure that you anticipate that those triggers are going to happen.
Yeah.
That you're going to be triggered in some way, and then
So that religion and politics are going to come up at the family gathering.
That's
Right.
right.
Yes. And have an out.
Yeah, right.
But
Now
I
it's time
do
for the
love
walk.
that.
That's right.
And you can pray for self-awareness. That's something that I have actually been doing. Like, show me when, God. And he will answer that prayer, I do believe, especially because we're trying to honor him and love this person that we're having difficulty loving. I was reading something the other day about the fact that God is so big and so amazing that he has parts of himself in each person. We've all got an aspect of God in us. And when we think about what aspect of God is in me, is it creativity? Is it compassion? Is it the ability to love? Is it the ability to, is it humor? We've all got these aspects of God that he's built in us. And this book suggested that when you're struggling to interact with someone, try to think about what aspect of God is in them. What is that part of God in them?
Yeah.
And then we can connect to that and celebrate that part of God that is in them.